Hello there, everyone, and welcome to my presentation, Yatai, Fukuoka's Disappearing Gem by Ikraam. For this project, I decided to go with option 1, focusing on food and media. I chose specifically to focus on Fukuoka's famous Yatai street food stalls. And by using one of my favorite Japanese food YouTube channels, Food Tourism Japan, as my main example for this media. My goal primarily is to show how these stalls and the way they're represented online convey powerful cultural messages about tradition, community, and tourism. On this page, I went in and provided a few visual examples of what regular yatai tend to look like in Fukuoka. To the left is actually one of the more famous yatais, Yatai Ganmachi, which is headed by the head chef on the left, and I do believe that's a family member also. Moving on. The media of food. The YouTube channel, Food Tourism Japan, highlights local food culture from restaurants to street stalls. Its audience is primarily global, as the channel is quite big, which consists of food enthusiasts, fans from all walks of life, travelers who want to experience authentic Japanese cuisine, or plan on visiting the country as a whole. Overall, the video quality tends to be very immersive. Most of their videos focus on the atmosphere and tend to give great detail as far as the recipes and the traditions and cultures of these restaurants they cover. To the right is a general visual of the homepage of Food Tourism Japan. This is actually a screenshot of my computer, and as you can note, I tend to watch quite a few videos on here. I visit this channel quite a bit, and it's one of my favorite channels. I would very much recommend it if you love Japanese culture and Japanese food, and you're very much interested in learning new things. So the question is, what are yatai? Yatai are mobile food stalls that open nightly, usually from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. They offer a cozy, communal seating where strangers sit shoulder to shoulder, creating a unique social environment. Most yatais tend to have famous dishes such as ramen, yakitori, gyoza, and ramen, all traditional Japanese meals. Most people tend to consider yatai as not really just places to eat, but more authentic spaces where locals and visitors tend to connect. And beyond the food itself, many people see yatai cooks or chefs as artists in their own right. Each stall has its own personality, and the way the chef prepares, presents, and serves food, and in some cases provides some kind of entertainment throughout the night. Most yatais tend to blend a form of art, which covers traditions, creativity, and hospitality of the individual. To the right over here, I went ahead and also provided a short video just to give us a visual, a day in the life of a yatai looks like. Enjoy. I hope that video was to your liking and gave you a visual idea of how yatais work. What makes yatais extremely special is their general nature. Essentially, they're set up at dusk and they're gone by dawn. In most cases, they're required to assemble their whole restaurant within an hour. And this is based on government mandate. In the heart of Fukuoka, there are currently 100 plus stalls. The main areas stalls are allowed include Tenjin, Nakasa, Nakahama, Nishiji. And these areas are mainly around the river of Fukuoka. At the bottom here, I included a few famous stalls known all around Fukuoka. A few of them include Chef Remy, one of the first foreigners to ever open a yatai. Mami-chan, who is considered a veteran in the yatai community. And Yatai Kenji, or Kenji, known by others, one of the most famous and popular yatai owners online. To the right, I went ahead and provided a couple videos just on both Chef Remy to the right and Chef Kenji to the left. I hope you enjoy.
This is Remy. He's the first foreign owner of a yatai, a small mobile food stall that isn't there in the day but rolls in and sets up on the street in the evening. His yatai serves a unique menu of Japanese and French dishes like gnocchi and escargot. He was born in France but has lived in Japan for over 20 years, and his stall is incredibly popular among the locals due to both the food and his entertainment. He wants everyone to know that warm meals can come at a cheap price and hopes to share his unique yatai with you, so definitely come visit if you're in Fukuoka.
I hope you enjoyed those last two videos and it gave you a general idea of how unique and entertaining yatais are. Now jumping into the history and the culture of yatais. Most yatais on record started in the Meiji period, which is the late 1800s of Japan, and became very popular later on, post-World War II, on the black market. A big change to the general idea of yatai came around the 1960s, around the Tokyo Olympics. Essentially, the government had an issue with these yatai, as they considered them filthy, unhygienic, and not part of the social norm. Thus, around that time, there was a shortage of yatais, as the government was cracking down and dismantling most of these vendors. Pushed to current day, there was a steady decline of yatai towards the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s. Currently, there's been a major decline as far as traditional yatai. From the early 2000s, going from 400 plus stalls to just 100 today. Current day, the government's view of yatais has completely flipped, where municipal governments stepping in to designate certain hours for these yatai in a way to help hygiene, logistics, and the sustainability of these yatais in current day. Something to note also, a New York Times article I found in 2003 named Fukuoka a top 52 place to visit for yatai. And to the right are a few visuals of yatais of past and current, with a map illustrating the area that is super popular for most of the main yatais. Now we ask the question, what can yatai teach us about food? Yatai reinforce many cultural ideas. The fact that food can become community and connection. It can transcend time in the sense that traditions surviving in modern urban life was once something that began earlier. You look at yatai and the fact that good food is accessible to ordinary people at a cheap price also. In my view, yatai embody the fact that offering affordable food and shared places through social norms and social media is becoming common nowadays. Social media platforms like YouTube spread this tradition globally. This accessibility to good traditional food would not be possible without media like YouTube. In a way, this media spreads local traditions globally. A good idea that are a few screenshots that I took over here that were captured on Yatai Meiji, one of the more famous yatais, which just give you a general idea of how far and wide this yatai's reach is. If you notice, he has a few comments from Ireland, a couple from other areas, Honduras, I do believe, one gentleman from California. It's just that global reach that indicates that food kind of transcends borders in a way. Now, my personal conclusion with this form of food media. I feel food media, like Food Tourism Japan, preserves cultural memory and makes it accessible worldwide. In a way, yatai show how tradition adapts to modern tourism, while still, in a sense, maintaining its authenticity, but also bringing its personal flair. Personally, as an anime fan and food media enthusiast, I find yatai both familiar and transformative. They remind me of how an individual can make a difference in the sense that they bring their own unique sort of taste and visuals in the way that they present themselves to the world. Overall, I'm a big fan of yatai, and I plan on actually visiting Fukuoka at some point. I know it may not be this year, but I do plan on going there at least next year. And just to close out, I presented this very interesting short that I found absolutely gorgeous, and I'm hoping to go to this exact area. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. On the next page are all my references.